we need to talk. If you recognize me or you've been here before, you would probably know that my posting is erratic. I would say it's unpredictable at best. I will post for weeks or months at a time and then just disappear without any warning to you or myself, and then come back again and then disappear again, and it's just been this never-ending cycle. But I am here now to say I am finally back for good. I mean it this time. I am so committed to coming back to YouTube and fully sticking with it this time. I promise. Like, I know you might not even believe me at this point, but just hear me out, okay? I want to give you all an explanation as to where I've been, what I've been up to, life changes, reading changes, all the things. I just want to chat with you a little bit and kind of reintroduce myself. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Zoe. I'm an avid reader, a bookseller, a runner, and I'm somebody who just loves to share her passion of reading and books with the community on YouTube. I hope that as you watch my channel, this can feel like a cozy, warm space to kind of just share that passion and talk with each other. Now on to where I've been. I feel like multiple different things led to the demise of my YouTube channel, I guess, or this kind of vanishing act I've been doing. But let's start with the biggest one, my reading slump. I have been in what feels like a never-ending reading slump for a couple years now. I'll have moments here and there where I read a book or two and I enjoy it so much and I feel like, hey, I'm back into it, my reading slump is over, and then the next book I pick up, it's back. It just comes and goes nonstop. Another thing that keeps happening is I will buy books or pick up books that I have been so excited for, just like waiting months and months and months for. I'm looking forward to it. I pick it up, I read a few pages, and the next thing you know, I'm scrolling Pinterest or daydreaming about who knows what. And maybe part of what makes it feel like a slump is how many books I used to read, because I used to read so many books. If you go back and look at my 2023, early 2024, 2022 stats or my videos, you see that I read so many books. Like, I would read 150 books a year. Now, I read a whole lot less. And that's okay, but it's definitely made a difference in this channel and my life. But I also question myself, like, is it a slump, or is it just that I have less time and therefore I'm reading less? And it's not actually a slump, it's just adjusting to the feeling of reading less, if you're following along. But I think it's a little bit of both, if I'm gonna be honest. I do find myself having a hard time picking up books, reading them, getting as excited as I used to, and flying through them in a day or two. It does feel slumpy and difficult, and that's a place none of us want to be. But at the same time, life just got busy. I work a lot, and while one might think working in a bookstore would make you just want to read more and maybe even have more time to read or something, that is not exactly the case. I also find that I spend more time doing other things that I am passionate about or excited about, such as running or music or just creative things, or even just like living. I feel like I've just done more living. And that's not to say that like reading a bunch doesn't mean you're living, but I feel like I've just like explored that there are other things that I like to do and fill my life with. So yeah, maybe I'm not reading 150 books a year, and maybe I then have a little bit of a harder time making content for a channel that is almost solely focused on books and reading. But that is something that I plan to work through. As I come back to YouTube, I really want to try and work through this feeling that I have that is a reading slump, isn't a reading slump, I don't know. I just want to start exploring things and falling back in love with reading again and sharing it with you guys. And I also even possibly want to start sharing things that I do other than reading, such as running, writing, music, whatever. But that will be told in time. Who's to say if I will or won't? But I am excited to share reading vlogs and reading wrap-ups again, and just posting videos about my opinion on different things in the reading world, because that is what I love to do. BookTube is just such a safe space for me. It always has been, and I'm so stoked to be back. I think another thing that kind of held me back for a while is I have this habit of questioning my creative abilities. I will fully film a video, even edit the entire thing and have it ready to post, and then I'll scrap it, which is such a wild thing to do now that I look back at it. But I would just feel like I had this idea in my head, but it wouldn't be executed in the way that I would want it to be. And so I would feel like, why should I post it then? But I have realized perhaps I was a bit too hard on myself, because all this space should ever be is somewhere for me to share something I'm passionate about with like-minded people. So as I move forward, I'm going to try to remind myself that posting anything that I had fun with is better than perfect or nothing at all. And I'm just gonna try to give myself a little bit of grace. Now let's talk about one last thing, and that is how my reading taste has changed in this new chapter of my life. I would say that through the years, my reading taste has gone through an evolution of sorts. Growing up, I was strictly a young adult reader. YA, fantasy, or fiction, it didn't matter. And then I started to kind of dip my toes in fantasy a little bit and mystery thriller. And then I started to get into romance a little bit, which is something I never thought I would do. But then I learned that I'm a hopeless romantic and didn't even know it until later years in my life. The best and most fun change ever. But that is not all that I read anymore. Now, that's not to say that I don't eat up a book from any of those genres, especially a romance or a young adult. Like, love it to death if it's the right book in the right moment. But I've kind of moved on to reading more kind of general fiction. I don't really read much fantasy anymore. I find that I just have a hard time with it despite wanting to love fantasy, and I still don't really read nonfiction. But the main change is that I have really taken a step back from young adult. It makes me sad because I always said that I would never outgrow young adult, but it kind of feels like that's where I'm at. I just find that I get more enjoyment out of a book such as The Berry Pickers or Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow versus Shatter Me or To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So I guess what I'm saying is my reading taste has kind of gotten older, which makes sense because I've gotten older, so it's probably going to change and grow with me. But regardless, I still do read just about everything from time to time. I feel like there are just so many hidden gems out there. If you don't give everything a shot, like, you could miss out on so much. So regardless, I'll still read everything on this channel. It's just that is more what I find myself interested in these days. Anyway, with all that to say, I guess I'm just really excited to be here and immerse myself in this community again. If you are following along or have been following along, thank you so much for being here. I just love this community so much, and I feel like it's always been such a creative outlet for me. So coming back and recommitting to this channel really feels like coming home, and that's so special to me. If you have tips for getting out of a reading slump, if you've been in a reading slump, if you have any book recommendations, or even if you just relate to anything that I've talked about in this video at all, feel free to let me know down below. As I always say, I just love connecting with people in this community. That's why I'm here, and I am so ready to talk to you all again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.